Good morning, boys and girls. Today is Thursday, and we wouldn't normally be at play school anyway today, but I wanted to come to you and talk to you a little bit about our letter this week. We didn't get much time this week to learn about letter E. We started on Monday with our centers, our handwriting, and our pattern blocks, and we did our E paper, but we haven't had the rest of this week to talk about it. So I wanted to start by reviewing a little bit about our letter of the week. It is E. A capital E is just a straight line down and then 3 lines across. And a lowercase e is kind of tricky to write, but if you remember on Monday, I taught you if you'll make your straight line across first and then go up and around like a C, that's how you make your letter lowercase e. E is a special letter called a vowel. And if you remember, we've talked about vowels are very important because every word in the whole world has to have at least one vowel. So E is in a lot of words. We went around the circle and talked about how many of our names had an E in it. And vowels are special because they make 2 sounds. They always make 2 sounds. They can say their own name. So E can say E, like eagle and Easter. And then they have another sound, and the other sound that E makes is an sound. Can you say that? And that's the sound of egg or elephant, okay? So that is letter E. Now, I sent home, if you were in daycare on Monday, once we found out we weren't going to be able to come back the rest of this week, I sent home some work with you. I sent home your Let's Find Out and your daughter paper and your magnet. And if you weren't in daycare, we have brought those to you when we brought your pumpkins. So I want you to just take a minute. Some of you may have already done this one. This is our E paper, our daughter paper. Now I know that most of you probably don't have daughters at home, and that's okay. You can use whatever you would like to find your capital and lowercase e's. You can use a marker and color those in. You can use crayons. You can even use a pencil and shade it. Or you can get real creative and get some stickers or something and put on there. However you want to do that is fine. I just want to see if you can look at all these letters and figure out which ones are E's and mark those. And if you want to bring this back next week when we come back on Monday and you have done it, then we will give you an elephant stamp for that. So I'd like you to do that sometime this week. And then the other thing that I sent home was our magnet. This week our magnet for E is an egg. This is what an egg looks like when it's fried. So an egg has 2 parts. It has the white part, which actually doesn't look white at all when you first crack it. It looks really slimy and clear. And then it has the yolk, which is the yellow part. So when you break an egg into a frying pan and you fry it, that egg white actually does turn white and the yolk stays yellow. So this is an easy magnet. All you really have to do is trace your E with maybe a marker, or if you don't have markers at home, you can do a crayon. And then just color your egg yolk and then cut it out and you will have a fried egg. And you don't have to bring this back to school. We gave you your magnet. You can go ahead and stick that on there, and you can keep this at home on your refrigerator or wherever you keep all your other magnets. You don't have to bring that back and show us, okay? So that's kind of your homework for this week. And tomorrow when I do my read aloud, we will talk about our Let's Find Out about pumpkins. But today I have another pumpkin story, and I wanted us to see if we remember our rhyme about the 5 little pumpkins. So if you'll put up 5 fingers, we'll say it together. 5 little pumpkins sitting on a gate. The first one said, "Oh my, it's getting late." The second one said, "There are witches in the air." The third one said, "But we don't care." The fourth one said, "Let's run and run and run." The fifth one said, "I'm ready for some fun." Then woo went the wind and out went the light, and the 5 little pumpkins rolled out of sight. All right, today I have a pumpkin story. This is a very sweet story. It's called The Very Best Pumpkin. This is a story about friendship, and it is written by someone named Mark Moulton, and he is the author of the story. And then it's illustrated by Karen Good. She is the person that drew these pretty pictures, and I love the pictures in this story. So, oh, the wind's blowing a little bit out here. This is The Very Best pumpkin. And remember, when we read a book, we always read from top to bottom, left to right. That's how the story goes. So let's see, the very best pumpkin. Down a winding country lane and over a rolling hill, you'll find Pumpkin Hollow Farm, where a young boy named Peter lives with his grandparents, Mimi and Papa. There's Peter's house right there. They live on a farm. In the spring, they grow plump, juicy strawberries, and in the summer, corn, crisp as honey. Do you like eating corn on the cob? I do. But it's in the fall that Mimi and Papa's farm produces the most wonderful crop of all. I wonder what grows in the fall. Pumpkins! Look at all of those pumpkins. You see the little mice in the pumpkins there? Big pumpkins, small pumpkins, short pumpkins, tall pumpkins. They grow pumpkins of every size and shape. One summer, not so long ago, as Peter was tending his pumpkins, he spotted a long curly-Q vine that he hadn't noticed before. Remember, we talked about pumpkins grow on a vine. So he sees a long vine that he hasn't noticed. It twisted and it traveled way beyond the far edge of the field. Curious, Peter followed where the vine went. Cautiously, he clambered over pumpkin after pumpkin. As he trailed the vine, see the vine keeps going and going and going, into a nearby meadow. And at the vine's very end, much to Peter's surprise, he discovered a tiny little pumpkin growing all by itself among the weeds. Poor little pumpkin, thought Peter. It's awfully lonely out here. That pumpkin's growing all by itself. So very carefully, Peter cleared the weeds so the pumpkin could enjoy some sunshine. See him pulling the weeds there? Then he loosened the soil around the plant and gave it some water. There he is, taking care of the soil. Every day that followed, when Peter had finished tending all the other pumpkins that grew side by side in the field, he hurried out to the meadow to visit his lonely little pumpkin. He even put up a sign there that says, "Caution, pumpkin growing." Peter was so busy that summer, he didn't notice that a new family had moved in next door to Mimi and Poppy's farm. See, there's a house next door, and there's a new family that moved in the house. Peter's new neighbor, Meg, spent most of her time alone reading under a tree at the far edge of her yard. There's Meg. She likes to read by herself. She looks about Peter's age. One afternoon, as Meg was reading, she heard a noise in the meadow next door. She peeked around just in time to see Peter as he bent caring for his special pumpkin. Look how big his pumpkin has gotten. Day after day, Meg quietly watched, and little by little, Peter's pumpkin grew. It grew larger and larger and rounder and plumper and began to change color from pale yellow to dark green and finally to a deep, rich orange red that glowed in the late summer sun. See that pumpkin? It was the most beautiful pumpkin that Meg had ever seen. Soon, the leaves began to change and the days grew shorter and cooler. That must mean it's a new season. Remember, we talked about fall, the leaves change colors and the days get cooler? Folks began to arrive at Mimi and Papa's farm to select their pumpkins. Peter helped his teacher, Miss Clark, choose a pretty little pumpkin for her desk at school. Do you see it? Peter proudly showed Officer Bailey a big pumpkin in the middle of the field. It would look dandy on the steps of the police station. There, he put it in the trunk of the police car. Miss Jane, the librarian, thanked Peter after he helped her pick just the right pumpkin for her award-winning pies. She's going to do like in our story the other day and use the pumpkin to make pumpkin pies. Peter helped pumpkin after pumpkin find a good home, but he was saving one pumpkin. Do you know which one? His special pumpkin, the best pumpkin of all. I wonder what he's saving it for. Late one afternoon, Meg and her parents came by the farm to pick their pumpkins. Peter watched as Meg stepped gingerly into the field and began to search. She peeked under giant leaves and crawled over rambling vines and carefully stepped between pumpkin after pumpkin, but she couldn't seem to find just the right one. Meg looked here and she looked there. She looked everywhere. Just as she was about to leave, someone stepped up behind her. "I think I might know where to look," said Peter. Peter guided Meg past all the pumpkins in the field until they came upon the wandering vine. "Follow me," he said. They followed the vine to the meadow where Peter's special pumpkin grew. "This one's the very best pumpkin," said Peter. "Oh, it's beautiful," Meg cried. Meg shyly told Peter how she'd been there all along watching him care for his special pumpkin. "I knew you were there," Peter confessed. "That's why I'd like for you to have it." Oh, he's going to give his special pumpkin to Meg. Look, together Meg and Peter carried their special pumpkin across the field to show Meg's parents. Autumn turned into winter. Oh, see, they're going to build a snowman together. And winter turned into spring. And spring is the time when we plant new things, new pumpkin seeds. Soon it was summer once again, and Peter was busy tending a new crop of pumpkins side by side with his new friend Meg. Every day they cleared the weeds and tilled the soil and watered the field. And just like the pumpkins, their friendship grew and grew and grew. The end. Was that a sweet story? Miss Amy loves that one about how the pumpkin helped the boy and girl become friends. Boys and girls, I hope you have a good day. I enjoyed seeing a lot more of you yesterday. We have just 2 more pumpkins to deliver, so hopefully in just a little bit I'm going to get to see Scarlet Lily and then Carson later on this afternoon, and everybody will have their pumpkins. Don't forget to have your mommy and daddy send me pictures if you carve it or if you paint it or do something else with your pumpkin, and I will share those with the class. I hope you have a terrific Thursday, and I will be back and see you tomorrow. Bye.